And we're live.
I take most of my recommendations from Kyle and Woody here on my media consumption. And I find myself like, I have a basement gym with my TV and everything. And so often it'll be like, what do I want to watch and listen to while I'm working out? King of the Hill again.
Like, or Opie and Anthony.
I listen to... If you took the amount of hours I spend listening to old Opie and Anthony clips throughout a week, it would be a full-time job. Like, just always my background sound when I'm cleaning the kitchen, when I'm doing whatever, it's all old Opie and Anthony bits. I've been going through the Lady Di saga again. That's hilarious.
Opie add much to the show because I know you're a big Anthony fan.
Yeah, huge Anthony and Jim Norton fan. Opie never sucked me in as part of the show. He would, if anything, he often ruined bits because Jim and Anthony would be like riff, like going somewhere with like Bobo or Lady Di, like the whack pack of their, I don't know what their branding was, but whatever the whack pack was for them. And so often Opie would step in and be like, oh, we got to take a caller. It's Steve from Moonaki or something. And it's like, God damn it, dude. Like, you just stepped on it right in the middle of the funny stuff. There was no reason for you to do that. And so you can definitely hear in old O&A clips. There are clips called Nopey clips on YouTube. And so you can search Nopey, and someone took the time to go through entire O&A episodes and edit out every single thing that Opie says.
Hurt.
And it is, I guarantee he's not hurt. He's a multi-millionaire living in an awesome place.
You not
Opie?
hurt.
No, he's very hurt. His new show, like his voicemail even has him. He's like telling people if they're going to leave a message, like, don't be negative. He seems extremely sensitive.
He might be, because there were also clips like throughout because you can watch like a entire saga of the O&A show falling apart over years, and it's like 8 hours long. And the photo of it is Anthony, Opie, and Jim photoshopped into the Downfall poster, which is the poster of the Hitler movie, where it's like Anthony standing there as Hitler, like in the Downfall, and they're all doing that. And you can see it totally fall apart, but it all seemed, at least from a listener, from someone, you know how it is being a listener to a show. You don't actually know the inner workings. You don't know shit. Like, you can assume a lot of things, but just watching that, it was like Opie clearly became jealous of Jim and Anthony driving the direction. And he would always try and re-seize the control, because at the end of the day, he was like the in-charge guy. But yeah, Opie is not liked. I didn't know that what you said, Dick. I didn't know he was like still sensitive about it. I assumed he just kind of cashed out and was like, I'm worth like $15 million. I'm good to go.
But that doesn't work at all. Like I see that a lot. Like, the internet will give some NBA player a hard time who missed the game-winning free throw. And a handful of people are like, what? He's rich. It doesn't bother him. No, it absolutely bothers him. This is his entire identity. He's been working on this since he was a little kid. His sense of self-worth is wrapped up in being able to do shit like this, and he didn't do it. That probably describes Opie too.
You just hit it on. You hit the nail on the head right there, Woody, because there were definitely times in the clips where Anthony, Jim, and Opie were arguing, where Opie would just out and out say like, oh, you guys leave? I'll still run a hit show. I'll run a hit show. I've done it before. I found both of you guys. I can find more people. And that was his kind of angle, because Opie, in honesty, he's the one who brought Anthony on board. Anthony was a tin knocker, like working in attics. And he's like, mean? Anthony's meaning like he was installing AC units and heating units. And that's all he did. And Opie genuinely did find the talent, which was Anthony. But it kind of consumed him to the point where he's like, oh, that talent, like the people who have grown to love Anthony and Jim bantering, I can do that again. I can do that again in a different direction. And that was kind of the last time that I saw him. Like,
it's hard to catch lightning, right?
Yeah. Like, Anthony is one of the that I haven't listened to enough Stern. Like, Kyle will probably disagree with me on this, but O&A, classic O&A, is the funniest fucking shit out there. It's great because they didn't have structure. They didn't have planned bits. They did, but not as much as like just bring in a bunch of Jim Norton's hilarious comedian friends and just have them riff and make fun of each other. When Colin Quinn calls Bobby Kelly a fat comedian when he says, "You look like a last-minute gift at the Beijing airport." when he says that, that makes me laugh so hard. Like it's just the ruthless insults when he calls Anthony a back alley Tunisian knife fighter, or of course, or whatever the other ones were.
Of course,
it's so good. Yeah, of course.
It's really funny. I think I have a hard time choosing between the best of Stern and the best of O&A. Some of those Stern bits are so fucking good. Like some of that Stuttering John stuff, some of those like contests they had. Did any of that make you laugh as hard as when they brought in Lady Di, a hardcore alcoholic homeless woman, to be an intern for a week, and she clogged up the sink with vomit and shit? It was, but Lady Di made me laugh. Building. But I had the video of that, right? Like I didn't have video for the Stern stuff. Like maybe if I'd had video for the Stern stuff, it would have been as funny. But like some of that shit, man, when they went to NAMBLA, to the North American Man Boy Love Association's like big meeting, and like Stuttering John is like questioning these guys and like finding information out about them, and like the guys are being like super open about what they're into, and like they go back and forth between playing those clips and like Howard like making fun of it. That's really funny. But then they'll just have like literally retarded people come into the studio, and like they had Beetlejuice, which is a what was that? Remember the Zika virus that we were all afraid of? Like, yeah, he got it. He doesn't have it, but he has what it causes, which is that tiny head syndrome. His head is like or something. Yeah, that's it. Of course, you know what tiny head. You're hoping you could get it. Maybe just average me and him. Yeah. He's got this pointy head that's about 1/3 normal human size. And while they say brain size doesn't correspond to intelligence, in his case,
Taylor says it does.
Nobody fucking retarded.
Taylor's dying on that hill. Obviously, brain size correlates with intelligence. You look at the big animals that have big brains; they're the smartest ones. Bird brains, not smart.
Literally does. Literally does. Brain size in comparison to body weight.
Beetlejuice is a black midget with a cone head the size of a cantaloupe and these awful rotted teeth, and he thinks he's a badass and a pimp. And so they bring him in, and I want to say they were sponsored by like Manscaped, like one of those companies that makes like razors to trim like your junk. And so, well, I got a good idea for a sponsor segment. Hey, Beetlejuice, this porn star is going to shave your balls. Yeah, just strip down a little bit, little man. Yeah, get naked right there. Oh, yeah, we're recording for the E! Show. No big deal, right? No, let's do it. And he's just naked there. It's on YouTube uncensored somewhere. This tiny-headed, retarded black midget, completely naked, getting shaved by a porn star while a multimillionaire watches and laughs with all of his friends.
That stuff was good. It's not my favorite part of Stern. One, I thought his celebrity interviews were really good. He got celebrities like relaxed and answering questions that no one else could. He had a gift for that. And also, I don't know if I love this so much, but he built a community. He'd go into a new city and he'd want to be number one in that city. He'd talk about how he wanted to be number one in that city and how people needed to vote for him and fill out Nielsen cards and just like stack the deck so that he would be rated number one in that city. And a lot of people would be like, yeah, clearly we have to get Howard to be number one in Nashville somehow. It's our mission to make him number one. And, you know, I'm like driving somewhere in New Jersey thinking, man, I hope he hits number one in Nashville. This apparently is important. I don't know why that's important to me.
They did have a community. Do you know who won People Magazine's Best Looking Man of the Year for 1999?
It's Howard.
Well, second place was Leonardo DiCaprio. First place went to Hank, the Angry Dwarf.
See? And that's perfect. That's what you want. Why can't we ruin those competitions anymore?
We used to do this show live, and we'd routinely take down websites that you wouldn't think we could take down. Like if you go back 8 years ago, place like Wendy's wouldn't have a lot of like DDoS protection and stuff. And we'd be like, everyone hit F5, hit F5. And we just take down Maglite, Wendy's, like McDonald's, shit like that.
Whatever we
Allegedly.
could think of, just for the solar.
Yeah. I mean,
the
you can't
lols.
take down Amazon. Like they're built for that. But
Would it be like, take down my YouTube homepage? Yeah. Just keep hitting F5. It's auto-playing, huh? All right, just keep it up. You'll get it.
Watch that ad before you click off. to make
was
sure the view is counted.
The humiliation parts of Stern that I loved. So like Baba Booey's video that he sent to his ex. Hi, hello, or hello. Like that, just paying him $20,000 to endure that sort of humiliation was beautiful.
If I
So
remember
beautiful.
correctly, it's a little fuzzy because it's been so long, but he had like made a video of him apologizing to his girlfriend and like mailed it to her or something like that.
And it was like the weaseliest scumbag, like non-apology. They were critiquing it.
I know
People
that you
could pay
think that I was in the wrong, but you know, I was in a rough place and I think you'll come to understand that. And it's just like this long non-apology literal video because it's on a cassette tape that he mailed through the mail to her home.
Flirting with your Jesse Ventura impression there.
And she must have like sent it to Howard.
He had a copy. He had a copy. He found it.
And he brought it in. Oh.
Yeah, he brought it in. And then they paid him like $30,000 to do a screening of it for everybody on the show and, you know,
That's awful.
favorites.
Jackie the Joke Man used to get paid in advertising. Like he didn't have a really high salary, but they advertise his CDs all the time, his comedy CDs.
I recently saw a thing where it's Jackie, it's Stuttering John, and somebody else doing like a round table talking about their time on the Stern Show, and they were talking about how shitty the pay was from the E channel specifically. And it may have been Jackie, I don't remember which one it was, but they were talking to somebody and they were like, "Yeah, what's that gig pay? That's crazy. Everybody watches it." And he's like, "They offered me 10. But I'm not going to fucking take it. I'm not going to fucking take it. That's bullshit." They're like, you can't be doing so well that $10,000 a week isn't worth your time. And he's like, "No, it's 10 a year. It's 10 a year that they're offering me."
It's hard to find what right is. 10 a year feels really wrong. But Howard's getting rich. Right, Howard's getting rich. He's the king of all media. He's got the book. He's got the movie. He's got the radio show. He has a TV show. He's making it all happen. But what is the gap between Howard's pay and Jackie's pay supposed to be?
Well, like what happened was like because he hadn't signed his e-contract, because he wanted like his lawyer to look at it first, and there was some slight delay. Every time he came into the studio, the E channel had to turn off their cameras because he hadn't signed his contract. So it became this big controversy. And like Howard calls into his office and he has to like apologize and be like, "I'm so sorry that I did this. I'm so sorry. I wanted my lawyer to look at my contract before I signed it, sir. I know that you're trying to make an extra $8 million this year and get yourself over to the top. I know you want to make $125 million this year and not just 117 or whatever the fuck." Yeah, Howard's was such a scummy piece of shit. It's just the worst. He should have like look, if the main guy, the guy who's the titular star of the show, is going to end up being a billionaire off of it, then the guys who we can name right offhand, like Jackie and Benji and you know the people who were there making, especially Fred got paid, Fred and Robin got paid, but nobody else did. Everybody else was getting paid just peanuts to be
all the
there.
rest of it went into Howard's greedy pockets.
I think Artie had a good deal. Artie was making, I think, $1 million a year. Which
That's
sleeping on the couch.
a horrible deal for the amount of reach they had. That's terrible.
well, he was just sitting there high on heroin, eating McMuffins for 4
It doesn't
hours.
matter what he was actually doing if he was contributing to the show and being the funny man, like.
Nah, that's communist. It's on Howard's back. It's all on his back.
It's way more
He's
than
got
the
to
rest of them.
replace people. Yeah.
I
People
didn't watch the
get
Artie.
bored.
I didn't watch the Artie era, so I won't weigh in. But I did watch like Fred and Jackie, and I always thought Jackie was way better than Fred. Like he added way more to the show to me than Fred did. Fred added the soundboard, which I kind of hated.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in the minority.
I don't like when Jackie opens his mouth. Where
Jackie
like puts his best work in is when he whispers to Howard, check the, I don't know what they call it. It's a defunct fucking internal DMing system that they
Skype.
use to like.
They type into each
It
other.
wasn't even that. It was some sort of radio jargon thing. He'd like type Howard a line.
Radioing across the office.
He'd type Howard a line, like a one-liner for to like make fun of somebody on the phone or just some fucking great. And Howard would deliver it well, and it would get a huge laugh, and it'd be this massive moment. And Jackie's just sitting over there like, that's me. That's me. He should have gotten paid for that shit.
And you think that what's his name?
Fred,
the guy with the fucked up nose,
Artie.
Wasn't also doing that? Artie? He wasn't.
I know that Artie was doing that, but Artie probably deserves less because he's doing heroin and asleep half the time.
I'm just saying, if he's passing jokes to the host and keeping it funny, that's significant.
He was passing jokes when he was conscious. I just think he takes a bit of a pay decrease because of the fact that he was literally.
Are his jokes funnier than what Howard was coming up with off the cuff?
Who could say?
Yeah,
because you don't know which jokes are his and which are Howard's, because he's not going, all right, everybody, hey, I'm sending Howard a joke, check it out. He's like privately DMing Howard jokes like throughout the show.
What's your guess, Kyle?
I don't think
how many of those funny one-liners were actually someone else?
My guess would be all of them, because I don't think Howard's is that organically funny. I think.
And why is he worth $1 billion?
Because that's what he would take.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I mean, and if they paid him $2 million, he would have killed himself. like
that's I didn't think along those lines.
You give that guy $2 million, and he's fucking dead. It's not just his nose rotted off his face; it's the whole face.
He got punched, right?
That's a big part of it was the punching, but also the years and years of snorting cocaine and heroin couldn't have helped.
I'm forgive me.
Oh, is
Do you
he
snort heroin?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can snort heroin.
What's the one where you
snort anything?
It's also heroin that you inject.
No, okay, but what's the one where you like put it in a spoon and turn it into an inhalable?
That's heroin.
Oh,
or wait, no, you're talking about
freebasing methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Oh,
where you heat that up and then you use a glass straw to suck the fumes in.
Yeah, and maybe crack. It has it almost looks like a bowl, a crack pipe. Like it has a.
Yeah, it's got a little round bowl on the end. And you crack. That's how mine all are.
No, that's how mine is too. I smoke a lot of crack. That's why I'm so healthy and slim.
Yeah, it keeps me focused.
Wait, crack,
dude!
I
smoke my crack and then I eat 3,000 calories of salted meats.
We lost Dick's second account. That's what just happened.
Are you putting it back?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
No worries.
What's that?
Changing.
Are you putting it back, or should I fix the layout?
No. You could. Oh, did it mess up the thing?
Yeah.
My computer was making noise.
I can fix it.
My computer was making noise, so I shut it down.
I think the big difference here is now Dick can't see us.
That's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just $1 million seems like a lot of money for like what he was doing. He just seemed like he was doing so little. Like I'm not saying $1 million for his position is a lot. I'm saying $1 million for his performance.
Right. Like if you were to tell me it was I'm sorry to cut you off, a non-drug dealer, like addict, I mean to say, like I don't know if Colin Quinn was crushing it in that job. He's kind of like a reliable guy who comes to work. You can count on him, I presume. Like if he's killing it in that job, I have an easier time paying him than Artie, who I have to imagine they're wondering where he is, why he's not on time, shit like that.
That was the entertainment, though. Like all of Artie's drug abuse was more engaging to me than his comedy. Like I wouldn't watch Colin Quinn tell jokes, but I'm into like, oh man, how did Artie fuck up this week? Like, is he sober again? Did he ruin his life or his relationship? Yeah,
he'd always get a pass too. Like if anything, he would be the one who was hardest on himself. He'd tell the embarrassing story about himself and they'd laugh at it. But if like, I'm trying to think who was always late, who was just getting it into, was it Benji? It was Benji. Benji got just shit on just shit on. Just every fucking day they'd shit on Benji. And I don't know. I like that. I like the parts of the show where they would make fun of the staff. I really liked what was that? Eric the actor, or AKA Eric the midget.
God, he was
being
great.
on the show. He's probably my favorite whack packer. He literally tried to have a hit put on a guy one time. It was hilarious. And like they would have this guy who was like
It's
an
illegal.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh yeah.
They would have this guy come on and like do stuff with the Stern Show who had been in the mob. I can't remember who it was, but he was like an ex
man.
No, this was he was like an ex mobster, and so so what's the fucking midget's name? Eric. Eric calls that guy. Eric calls that guy and leaves him this voicemail. And he's like,
Hey, that guy, you know the one. He needs to go. You know what to do. You know what to do.
like leaves him this long voicemail where he's literally ordering up a hit. Well, that guy, of course, just brings that voicemail to Howard, and he's like, "Hey, you're not gonna believe this." I think Eric just, "Hey, boo boo." He's like, Eric just tried to order a hit. He just tried to have me off a guy, and so they start playing it on the air over and over and over, making fun of Eric. It's great. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, maybe I'll listen to that. I won't though. I'm gonna keep listening to old O&A.
Oh, dude, I've probably listened to like the Eric the actor, Eric the midget clips. I think there's got to be 60 hours worth on YouTube.
So
I've
many.
listened to them. I've listened to those things probably 5 or 6 times.
The
Have you listened
earliest
to old
stuff,
O&A,
Stuttering John
Dick?
was great. Like, people didn't know Stuttering John. He was new. And they're just like, how did you get this job with a speech impediment? And he's just out there doing his best. There'd be actors like trying to be respectful while he's asking disrespectful questions with a speech impediment. It was a good gig.
Yeah. Eric was my favorite. He died. Like I remember, like he died on the show. They were like, "Yeah, Eric's going to surgery," and then like you hear like the next week, Eric's dead. It's like, fuck. Little fella couldn't make it anymore. Like they would pick on him so mercilessly though. He was a fan of some girl on American Idol, which was super hot at the time, like DeGarmo or something like that. And so they were like, if we can get you to meet her, will you let us make a real doll out of you? Which is like one of those like hyper realistic sex dolls.
And he's like, I guess we could do that. Yeah. If I could meet her.
And like, so there he is in this was on the E show, or at least on video. I saw it because his little retarded eyes are so happy when this like beautiful pop star walks in. She's like, "Hey, Eric, it's nice to meet you." And he's like,
It's so nice to meet you too.
and he's got these little club feet up under his body because he's in a wheelchair. He's not only
Dude,
a midget.
I'm watching a video right now. He has the most horrible little feet I've ever seen in my life.
Well, they bring up his feet at one point, and Howard's like, "What's wrong with your feet, Eric? Like, where do they even go? Are you do you have feet in those shoes?" And they just hammer on it, and he's avoiding. And finally, he's like,
I got a fucking club foot, you piece of shit.
like finally snaps. And then like he was gonna have like his own like private comedy show, and people were supposed to and like he's advertising it on the air live. He's like, "Yeah, you just go to this, you call this number or go to this website and you reserve your seats at Eric's comedy show." And Fred kept playing that clip of how many people had called and reserved. 0.0. He just, every time Eric tries to defend himself in the comedy show, he plays that's the soundboard. 0.0. And finally Eric's like,
You got that, damn it, Fred. I'm gonna fucking fly over there and shove that piece of shit right up your ass.
and Fred, just without missing a beat, he's like, "I'll be waiting at the airport." 0.0. just having a meltdown. It's great.
I mean, I love meltdown stuff like that. This is not for now. This is for Dick to enjoy later, hopefully, because I know Kyle's listened to the whole thing. The Lady Di internship.
She's so disgusting.
It's so funny. And Dude, she is a hardcore alcoholic, like the kind of person who drinks from sun up to sundown,
Sure.
7 days a week, 365. And the last call she makes into the O&A show, which at that point Anthony had been fired. It was like right after Anthony was fired, and it was the Opie and Jim show. And she called in, and she had fully, I learned about this, I think, from this. It's called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. And it's where you drink so much that you become wet-brained, like you're a retarded person because of the... Yeah, it's very wet.
Too wet.
You get wet brain, which is just
It's
you poured so
moist.
much alcohol over your synapses and stuff over the course of decades that you're just retarded now. And her last call into the O&J show is her talking about how she's on a mission on a Navy ship.
Oh God.
Where they call her, or she calls in like, Lady Di, how are you doing? What's new? And she's like, I'm on deployment. I'm here outside. And they're like, where are you? Where are you, Lady Di? And they know she's not had a job since 1998.
Yeah.
It's 2015 at that point. And they're like, so you're still doing that? Where are you docked? Jim's like, where are you docked, Lady Di? She's like, I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm docked. It's somewhere in the United States. We're in the United States. Oh, so you're just sailing around the United States in a military vessel, are you? Yeah, that's what we're doing right here. What's everybody talking about? And she's like talking to the other people in the insane asylum as it's happening. And they're like, can you ask her where you are? And it's like, where are we? Where are we docked? Where are we docked? And then some nurse is just like, we're in New York. They're like, we're docked outside of New York. We're docked outside of New York right now. And like Jim and Opie are playing into it like, well, I mean, it's not easy. It's hard work being in the Navy. And she's like, oh yeah. It's hard work being in the Navy. And she got
service
fired from working at Budweiser in like 2001.
Oh no.
She got
a dream
worked at
job.
Budweiser and got fired in like 2001. And they were like, so everything was no, just left the job right into the military, huh? And she's like, well, no, I still work at Budweiser. It's like, oh, really? I thought you lost that job in 2001. Oh, no. Oh, no. I never lost that job. It is that interview in and of itself is actually pretty sad because you're watching someone who's lost their mind. But if you're an O&A buff and you watch the 15 years of her being in appearance, there are clips of her from 2003 being like, I've been out of work for 2 years. I'm going to be fine. And she didn't end up being fine.
No.
Lots of funny content came out of it, though. I feel bad for her son. You know, she would often, or no, they would always make fun. They would play train soundboard clips because her first husband killed himself by jumping in front of a train.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It was a real knee slapper every time they play that train horn.
Why are you doing that? It happened so many years ago. Why are you playing
she
that?
cry. Yeah, I couldn't believe.
I think in LA we had local people. So after Stern, I'd go to Tom Likas or Heidi Frosty and Frank because I don't know, they were so big out here, and because we had radios when I was learning how to drive, so I got sucked into all those.
Oh yeah, I never listened to any of those.
There was a really cool morning radio thing in Atlanta when I was out here selling cars in like 2005, 2006. But I want to say they like got bought by a major market and like LA bought them, or I don't know, somebody else bought them and
yeah,
they bought
dude,
their show.
They got wiped out. All of talk radio, it seemed like all of talk radio across the country got wiped out at the same time, bought out and then dismantled like Roger Rabbit.
It was a cool show. Like there was like three main. There was a guy, a girl, and then kind of a loser. And the loser they would send out on the streets to do things called Torture Tuesday, where he would have to do like humiliating public, like he'd have to panhandle, and he couldn't stop until he had $50 or something like that. Or he'd have to get on top of a car and drive around I-285 in Atlanta. And honk if you see Benji out. He'll be on the roof of a Hyundai. He's strapped down, and then like. I want to say that
that's not nearly as brutal as the O&A things. They would have listeners go find Lady Di by the train tracks in Newark, and they would try and go find her. And there was that video I linked you. 33 minutes in, out of nowhere, she's not even being questioned. She goes, I have something to say. I have something to tell you guys. In the 80s, I let my boyfriend fuck me in the ass every weekend in a car. It's like, what? The entire 80s? She's like, yeah, in the 80s, he let me stay with him, and so I let him use me in the ass every weekend in a car. And they're like, always in a car? He's like, yeah, it was usually in a car. Really? So you just do that all the time? He's like, yeah. Well, it was the 80s.
Taylor.
It was the 80s. It was, and so she got fucked, and they were like, why would you bring this up? She's like, I just wanted you guys to know that I got fucked in the ass in the 80s. The entire 80s.
The entirety of the 80s.
All of Metallica's Rise and Fall. She was getting fucked in
The entire Reagan administration, just right up the ass.
I want a warm hole for all coming cocks.